And I'd say, you've got to set up a pop-up kitchen, you've got to prepare the piler from scratch, then you've got to come together, and you've got to cook it, and you've got to do it in under 2 hours. Not only that, you're not working with any equipment that you're ever familiar with, you've never used half the stuff that we're going to put you through working with, and not only that, you all think you know everything, and we've sabotaged some of the equipment nicely, and we make some puzzles around it just to spice it up a little bit. All right, and that piler team building day gets everyone united together. Basically, we have a lot of fun doing it, and companies get a lot of business benefit out of it as well as a lot of fun, and they get to cook a big piler, scoff it, and take some home. Now, that came about as an idea from taking part and seeing the piler competition, because I wanted to be not just a caterer. I wanted to use part of my own business knowledge and acumen as well. So my whole background in corporate sales, selling into big companies, that is a nod to that, right? So it allows me to go and talk to big companies. Okay, that's pretty much all I've got to say about Piler Fella. So you may have some questions. I might be asking you some questions. No? I'll ask you a question then. Right, see how well you pick up on things. What is the word of the week in this school?
Cajole.
Top man, okay. Who else knew that answer? Anyone else?
How do you know that?
Huh?
How do you know that?
Don't know, I just went on the internet and just said.
Because it's on the TVs all around the school.
I don't
Okay.
really pay attention to school.
The reason I say that is just to see how much you pay attention to your environment about you. Alright? So what I've talked to you today is everything that I've done, everything that comes into this business is about my environment and the influence it's had on me. Yes, young man, what's your name?
Toby,
Toby.
I've got a question. You said you do the team, that is, and you do it in the office. Do you still set up your pop-up kitchen and like...
It's all outside. It's all done outside. Sorry, when I say we go into them, I mean, loosely speaking, we go and talk to the company, but everything's done outside. We might have a meeting room like this, where we start off, and then we basically pitch it, and then we go outside, and then you've got to do it in all weathers.
do you have like a supplier, or do you just go to like bookers and get your stuff?
We do go to bookers, but not for everything. We have quite a few suppliers. We try and get as many authentic Spanish ingredients into the piler and everything that we do. So for example, we use Spanish olives, we use Spanish chorizo, we only use rice from Valencia, we use Spanish catering stocks, you name it, as much as we can get into it. And we've got about a dozen different Spanish suppliers. Go on.
I've got another question. Do you do like shows and events? Like, do you take the pop-up shop and like do shows and serve paella to people?
We have done, tended to move away from that because there's a risk element in that. So if you imagine we've got a big pan of paella, 50 portion, 60 portion pan, and we're going to a show. When we go to these shows, you know, I don't know, South of England show, is that something like that?
Yeah.
Something like that. We know there's going to be maybe 20, 30,000 people there, but we don't know how many are going to be eating our paella. Not only that, we know that there's going to be a dozen, 2 dozen other vendors doing other foods. Right, so we rock up at a show and we think, right, we might do 500 portions. So we prep 500 portions worth of paella in 50 portion pans, and we go along and we do 2 pans and we sell those. That's great. Take the money for that. Then we get to the 3rd pan and we're halfway through it, serving it, and the rain's open, and everyone buggers off home. And we've got another pan coming up for the paella number 4 and paella number 5 there, and then we've got all the other paellas that aren't even cooked yet. We've prepped all that food, and what are we going to do with it if everyone's gone away? It's high risk, basically. So we've tended not to do that. When we do the private parties, we do them because if you're going to have a birthday party, say, I don't know, what's your next big landmark? It's going to be 18, 16, 18? How old are you guys?
14.
14, okay. So 16th birthday, say, or 18th birthday, whatever, when you can vote, say. you might get a party. So you might go to mum and dad and say, I want a party for my 18th, yeah? And they're going to say, right, where do you want to hold it? Thinking, do I want you to hold it at home? Maybe not. And they say, how many people do you want? You go, oh, well, it's so and so and so and so. Oh, I want 30 people. Well, 30 people become 50 people because you're very popular, yeah? And you know a lot of people, 50 people might become 60 people, and then before you know it, you've got a list that you want to invite, it's 100 people. And they go, yep, mum and dad say, yep, fine, you can have 100 people, or you can have 50 people. We know how many people we're going to be catering for that way. So we prep for whatever it is that the party is. So there's no, there's no guessing. We know it's 50 people, or 100 people, or 200 people, or a wedding for 150. And that way we ring fence the pricing and the package it all up, all nice and neatly. So the customer gets one price per head. And that price per head could be, if it's Pile only for a couple of hundred people, could be